20 Neighbors from Hell, according to Reddit. Number 20. Apartment complex, 3rd floor. My neighbors on the 1st floor were 4 college-aged kids. They had huge, raging parties on school and work nights. Their friends sat in parked cars below my room and belted out songs they were listening to on the stereo until 3 to 4 a.m. Then I had class at 8. Just absolutely yelled them. Yeah. They smashed the hood of my car, put untold dents and scratches down the sides. Then at all hours of the night I would be woken by the building shaking and loud thudding. I attempted to make friends with them and attended a party just to see what the fuck was going on. They were playing a game where they would run full speed into the drywall to see if they could bust through. They had managed to bust through 3 walls in about a month. They ripped the drywall off of every wall surrounding their bathroom. They took a broken chair leg and punctured any remaining drywall to make perfect circles. Every single surface had been drawn on with a Sharpie. Carpet had been torn up, exposure, padding, and concrete. They told me they pissed and puked in all of the community dryers in the laundry room. I called the guy out about my car, and the day after it happened, he was really apologetic and said he would try to find out who at the party did it and try to get them to pay for it. He never got back to me, and I couldn't prove it was them. I actually liked the guy. He was really nice, but goddamn, he threw some stupid ass parties. I moved out about a month after I found out they had destroyed their apartment. Oh, and the funny part was that they had a stack of new drywall in one of their bedrooms and planned to replace all of the destroyed stuff. Good luck with that. You still have the Sharpie all over the counters, cabinet, and appliances. It sounds like they're just children. Not that this is helpful info at this point, but the magic eraser sponges take Sharpie off just about anything. Wow. How's it going to get worse than this is the real question. Number 19.
The bottom of the list.
Yeah. I don't drive much because I bike most places, but this fucking dude next door called the cops on the first day I moved in because my car is too loud. The cops showed up and were total car guys. Okay. The cops showed up and were total car guys. My brain was like not having that sentence, but that's what it says. Ending up sitting in the driveway revving my car up because the cops thought my 2006 STI was the shit, which it is. Well, fuck that neighbor if he's all like, you better keep that noise from that car down. Number 18. My parents live in a mostly legit neighborhood with very few really seedy rental properties scattered in for fun, and one of those seedy places is right next door to them. It's too bad because their house is pretty nice, but their property value is majorly decreased because of the house next door. Here's a list of the shit those people have pulled. My parents got woke up one night at about 2 a.m. to the drunk father chasing his daughter around the backyard, beating her with a stick. They had to call the police out. The people kept burning illegal things in the backyard, things like paint, carpet, plastics. It had filled their whole backyard with this noxious smoke, and embers would rain down on their roof. After 3 or 4 times, my parents called the city asking for advice, and they told that they should call 911 the next time it happened, so they'd send the fire department out. The people were fined $1,000. One 4th of July, they aimed fireworks at my parents' house, and my dad had to go outside with a hose to wet their roof. The drunken dad was recently convicted as a child molester. A child molester. What? He'd been molesting one of the neighbor's girls for over 5 years. What the fuck? His wife and loser son are still there, last I knew. What the fuck? On top of all that, the house is falling apart and the lawn is overgrown. They even have broken down cars resting on cinder blocks. I'm so glad I don't live with my parents anymore. The poor things. I'm waiting for the comment, my asshole neighbor were always calling the cops for no reason. Fucking weirdo used to water his roof. Man.
Where's that from? I don't understand the reference.
Neither do I, man. It's from some show that we should probably be glad that we don't watch. And now there's somebody that's watching this going, I watched that show. You trying to tell me something wrong with me? You trying to tell me something wrong with me, Kyle? I like that show. It's a good show, good quality entertainment. Me and my wife, we put our car on some cinder blocks and we watch it out on the front porch. Hey, Cletus, come comment on this video. This boy trying to tell me this ain't a good show. I know it's a good show. Got good writers. Number 16. I used to be friends with a girl next door from when we were 10 till high school started. Even though she treated me like shit. That's how girls will do ya. Her parents were obviously alcoholics, so I felt sorry for her more than anything. My little brother came along with me over to her backyard one day, and he accidentally tripped and fell into their back porch door. Her mom, who had daily naps from all of her drinking, was woken up and stormed outside to scream at my little autistic brother that could barely speak. When he didn't respond, she burned him with a cigarette on his arm. Not as crazy as some of these stories, but she still knowingly burnt a 6-year-old autistic kid. That drunk hag. Edit, my mom did go over there, obviously pressured by people in the comments for some sort of resolution, but made sure to yell at her where everyone could hear her. It was a weekend, so everyone was outside. The mom's husband was an attorney and knew it would be a better idea to embarrass her in the front of the neighborhood than assault her. No expletive was left unsaid, and no one told my dad because he would actually burn their house down with them in it. Man, that's sad. That's sad, man. Little autistic kids. I really want to know how it's going to get worse than these little asshats down here, you know, running holes through the drywall. Like, how fucking numbnut retarded. Is this a frat? Like, what do you think? Oh my god, a real apartment? Or is it Russia? That's the real question. Is that Russia? Maybe I'm, you know, getting up my own ass with a comment like that. And forgive me, I'm not trying to be racist here. But, you know, my god.
Pretty high.
That's unacceptable. We're running holes through the wall? Fuck me. Anyway, number 16. When my siblings, I, were young, we used to have a neighbor that apparently despised children. She was pretty old and lived alone, from what I could remember. If we were playing outside, she would have a tantrum and yell abuse at us. Abuse! Abuse! You damn kids! Let me read this again. Look, guys, if you're just listening to this, like, it's written very fucking horribly. Like, I'm trying to, you know, edit this as I read it so that it makes sense, but fuck me. If we were outside playing, she would have a tantrum and yell at or abuse us. Eventually, she started throwing stuff over the fence, and at one point threw a brick. Nigga, what? I went inside and told my mom, who then proceeded to storm over to the woman's house. She made us all stay inside, so I'm not entirely sure what she said or did, but our neighbor moved out in less than a week. I think my mother might be a secret badass because I've never seen her do a single aggressive thing in my what the fuck? That's awesome. Beware the fury of a gentle man, double so for a gentle woman. Oh man. Non-Jewish women can be frightening.
Non-Jewish.
Weird. Okay.
There's scary Jewish women out there.
There must be. I mean, women are women, so they all have the capacity inside them. Number 15. I live in an apartment. I pay my rent on time. I don't break a lot of shit. Sometimes I laugh a little loud with my sister or friends, but overall, I'm a good neighbor. This guy and his girlfriend move in. She gets pregnant. They decide to get a dog. She decides that she doesn't want to walk or play with the dog, so she puts him out on the balcony all day. The dog barks all fucking day. This went on for about 2 months. The city I live in has a noise ordinance, but the cops really don't enforce it much. The property manager said we've talked to him, and the dog isn't out much during the day. I was at my wit's end, and I finally contacted the property owner, told him that I had been there for several years with no incident, and that the neighbors had a dog that they kept on the balcony, so the smell of the dog shit and piss was horrible, and I couldn't sit out on my balcony in peace. He got in contact with my property manager and told them to either evict them or move them away from me. Before they moved out, he got drunk and smacked her around. I called the cops on him. They took him in, but she refused to press charges. Not sure what happened to them after they got moved to another apartment. OP says, sounds like a nightmare. I can't believe he hit his pregnant girlfriend. Did someone move in after them? Yep, a very nice older church lady. She is very sweet and keeps trying to take my damned soul to church. She doesn't care if I play music loud, and she brings me snacks from time to time. I'm surprised nobody in the comments is all like, did you bang her yet? You know what I'm talking about? Ooh, did you bang her in the heat of the night? I'm kidding. Look, guys, God, it's a joke. Can't make joke about the old church lady. Fuck that old church lady. She ain't bringing me no snacks. So if you guys want to send me some snacks, you already know where the Amazon link is. I'm kidding. Am I kidding? Stripes, what's wrong with you today? Are you like crying because you had a miscarriage?
I'm trying, Kyle.
I really love getting those kinds of reactions out of Stripes, because she was literally like, she might as well have been punched in the chest as far as like me saying something ridiculous and then her genuinely not having a response for it. So there you go, Stripes. You're drawn in the middle of my list. You can't even be bothered to listen to me and my amazing Neighbors from Hell stories. Oh yeah, coming in at number 10. You know what, Stripes? Whatever, alright? Number 14. Upstairs neighbors used to get drunk and piss off their balcony, jump up and down, and listen to classic rock at really loud volumes. My pops was fresh out the pan. Oh shit. The penitentiary is, another word for prison, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. And that's where his dad was fresh out of, and didn't want to get into any trouble, so he politely talked to the husband. Things were okay for a while, and then one day the daughters came downstairs and started throwing those little spiky balls that fall off the tree at my sisters and I. Their mom was laughing and encouraging them. My sisters beat the hell out of both of them. And then the mom decided that she wanted to fight my sisters. They were like 12 and 15 at the time. Well, my mom is a straight up lunatic when it comes to her family. When my mom got home, she went upstairs and started pounding on the door. The lady wasn't home, so my mom did the only logical thing left to do and snapped her broom. Well, about 15 minutes later, this big bitch came bumping her gums, and my Dukes was waiting for it. My mom is only 5'2", and she's about that action. Man, I'm loving this story. You understand me? It's written in just the right way. You know what I mean? About 15 minutes later, this big bitch come bumping her gums and making Dukes, and I was waiting for that shit. I'm about that life, motherfucker. And this behemoth yelled for her husband. That was a mistake number 3 for them. Her husband raised his fist to my motherfucking moms. And my mom's let go of his wife and started scrapping with him. My mom beat the hell out of him. My dad was holding his coffee mug and jacket. About an hour later, the dude showed up with 2 of his biker buddies, and my dad went out and beat the fuck out of all of them. The family moved a week later, and my parents were the heroes of our apartment complex. Yeah, your dad is pretty fucking metal, beating up like a biker motherfuckers. My dad grew up in a fucked up situation and spent most of his life from age 10 to 30 behind bars, man. From age 10 to 30?
What did he do at 10?
Jesus Christ. My mom and dad were from the same gang growing up. They changed their lives and seem like a simple, hard-working couple, but do not get on their bad side. My mom is crazier than my dad. The women typically are. Number 13, man. We're not getting anywhere with these lists. This has got to be 14, surely. I lived next door to a psychotic meth cook in the backward South that's a genius at evading cops. That's what's up, bro. He does things exciting, like riding an ATV up and down the street, shooting randomly into the air. Man, how does he do it? Shoot up with his buddies 10 feet from my son's bedroom window. Oh no. Wreck into my house. build booby-trapped meth labs in the woods? Booby-trapped meth labs in the woods, Stripes. Holy shit. Wow. Beats his girlfriend. His friends show up and pass out in my driveway. Random drugs show up in my mailbox all the time. Can't leave my house because he'll rob it. It's fucked up. God, he's so much fun, he adds. That poor guy. Well, I hope that nobody else is experiencing a life this intense, because my God, what are the comments saying? Having Trevor Phillips for a neighbor sounds like a blast. Trevor Phillips. Of course, a reference to a game called Grand Theft Auto, which some of you may or may not be acquainted with. How unfortunate for you if you never got the chance to play some GTA 5, baby. Do you think GTA 6 is going to be in Miami?
Where was the last one? Where have I been?
Oh my God, Stripes.
There's
a picture that I opened first, and I shouldn't have opened it first. Number 13. Every time they threw a party, a TV would get thrown out a window or balcony. Not a flat screen TV, a tube TV. It would just fall from the heavens and explode, sounding like a car crash. It would just rain a 150 LV 36-inch tube TV from the sky. Happened 4 times in one semester. Where are they bringing these TVs? You think they like publicized it as like a TV smashing party? Bring a old tube TV and we'll just throw it off the balcony.
But those are collectibles.
Did they clean it up? Today I learned apparently every single private housing company for every single university looks identical. I'm not surprised at all. He's saying today I learned that because I bet a whole bunch of people sent him a message going, "Hey bro, is that over at this campus?" And he's like, "No." And then they're like, "Is that over at this campus? Because I live in that campus. It looks just like that. Is it my campus?" No, it's not. Sorry. Oh God, somebody responded with some kind of bullshit story of their own, piggybacking off the monkey ball comment, trying to jiggle out the flickle wees in what's clearly a gilded comment. So now I have to read it because I care about things and want to make an entertaining video for the 16 people that are watching this going, "Man, Kyle, these are pretty great videos." Reminds me of several friends renting an old farmhouse. The power was shit, so they frequently had surges that killed a lot of electronic devices. Logical thing to do? Throw them out the window. One friend's room had a window which opened to a flat roof. They would walk them out there and then throw them off. Plenty of old tube TVs. Plumbing broke? 5-gallon bucket on the same roof. Jesus Christ. Finally have enough and pay a plumber. What was the cause? Why 3.5 off? Why 3/4 off of a glass bottle stuck in the trap? Nigga. Why are you making this a fucking mystery? like, you shouldn't kill me. I'm just trying to read this shit, nigga. Fuck me. 3/4 off. Like, is this some kind of like shop? Now it's like you get 3/4 off. 3/4 off. Damn. You could have made that like 75% off. Nah, nigga. 3/4 off. 3/4 off everything in this showroom.
Kyle, you're losing your mind.
I'm fucking reading this shit. Jesus Christ. Let me try and start that from the beginning of this section. Plumbing broke. 5-gallon buckets on that same roof. Finally have enough to pay a plumber. What was the cause? Why, 3/4 of a glass bottle stuck in the trap. One roommate left without paying their rent, but left a car in the driveway, roll it over, smash it up, and light it on fire. They got in some trouble for that. Lot had a barn in it, a barn which the owner strictly prohibited them from using. Well, that's one padlock going to do. What's one padlock going to do against a brick? So implying they used a brick to break open the padlock. This guy's writing starting to piss me off. So now after you break in, hey, there's a loft. Yeah, well, it's old and the floorboards are broken, but we need a band up there. Cops show up, band's done. Well, close the door and let's party. Someone throws a bottle at the wall and it happens to get stuck in a knot in the wood. Well, hey, if he can get it stuck, I can get it stuck. Several people proceed to throw bottles at the wall for hours, covering everything in broken glass. After that last one, the landlord stopped by the next day unannounced. There were 2 people on the lease, but about 7 people living there. Turns out they only ever dealt with his wife. He was overseas in the military, and he was a big old boy. He told them that they had 3 days to leave the property. One guy decided to be a smartass and bring up eviction. What did Sergeant Take No Shit do? He picks up the one guy over his head, walks him down the bar, and rotates the guy to grab him by the throat and crotch, holds him over a big pile of broken glass, and says, 2 days. Yeah. Looks at everyone else and they nod, walks towards the door and pushes this guy through the wall like it was nothing. That's pretty cool. The next morning, the owner started shooting skeet in the field early. They were all out that evening. Well, man, that landlord sounds like a badass. I guess that's what was gilded for. Oh my god, what a fucking ride that story was, man. I feel like I need a cigarette after that. Jesus Christ. And now, of course, people that are listening to this are probably asking, man, does Kyle smoke? No, I don't smoke cigarettes, man. That's weird. Smoking cigarettes are weird. Do you smoke cigarettes? Let's hear from you in the comment section. I can't do this YouTuber shit, man. You know what I mean? Like, I think the people who come here frequently know that I'm just a guy with a channel reading shit. But, you know, some people are probably thinking I'm a YouTuber, and that's so wrong. And it's your fault, Stripes. As secretary, you should be totally on top of making people aware that, you know, they're not going to get what they're expecting out of me.
I didn't know I had a title yet.
Secretary. Don't get used to it, you fucking ladybug. Ugh. So dumb. So dumb. 11. Guy next door was a hoarder. Junk on the front and back porch. Door wouldn't open. And never cut his grass. After a couple of years of city not enforcing lawn care, neighbors on either side started cutting the front lawn for him. Wow. But we couldn't mow back for him, and he always had 2 large dogs who only understood Polish. Wow. Grass was always 6 feet tall in the backyard, and that plus trash meant the mosquitoes along the fence were horrendous, rendering our otherwise pleasant shade garden unusable after the rain. Couldn't they like throw some kind of bomb out there to kill the you know, some kind of like, no, not just the mosquitoes, but like some kind of like to destroy the grass, you know what I mean? Like some kind of grass killer or something. I would just puncture a fucking, you know, a bottle of something killer and throw it back there. And there's got to be something that exists to just kill grass when it's grown out crazily like that into somebody else's neighborhood, but maybe they didn't want to mess with the dogs. I'm reading too much into this. At one point, he was stealing our water, which drove up our water bill. We suspect he didn't have electricity either, and he hung out at the library all day most days. Near the end, he slept in his truck in his driveway sometimes, possibly to avoid going in his hoarding ruined house. Wow. Eventually, he died. He was very sick. His house is in probate. I don't know what that means. This is obviously not an American person. I mean, like, I think that means, you know, like, it's no trespassing or something. Now someone mows every month or so. His son came and tried to clean out the house, but after dozens of truckloads to the dump with the beer cans and the fast food bags were still hip deep, I think he finally admitted defeat and quit coming out to clean every weekend. It will take a professional crew to clean it, I think, obviously. Thank goodness we are renters and not owners. Somebody says, that's really sad. We're cleaning out my husband and aunt's house now. She too had hoarding tendencies and health issues, which prevented her house from maintenance. Although it is very apparent that she didn't do more than sweep the floor in her best health. We offered to help her so many times, and she always passed. We got a giant dumpster and filled it last weekend. We aren't finished yet. It's just sad. Man, I would imagine for people that aren't hoarders, that if they were to die and then people were to come in and like clean their place, it'd probably be like a treasure hunt, right? Not for like stuff that would be valuable or easy to sell, but I mean just like kind of like going through a person's monkey balls, you know what I mean? Like if you were to die right now and somebody were to just be like, what's going on? And they find all these squishables and they'd be learning all this stuff about you, you know what I mean? What would people learn about you from the things that you have around you? See, I don't have many things other than like, you know, my dumbass games. That's it. What would they learn from that? You know? Oh, they have a lot of fans. This guy used to get really hot, you know?
What's the bags of M&Ms you own?
Yeah, they would think I was some kind of like M&M freak because one subscriber sent me like 6 bags of this crap. Love it. Love you, subscriber. Come on, man. This guy knows what's up. Anyway, number 12, maybe? Came here to rant about my shitty neighbors, read a few posts, and now I feel like sending them flowers. The neighbors, he means. Yeah. Well, that doesn't count as one, so let's make this one number 12. My God, is it a long one? What are you doing to me, Stripes? You need to start freaking proofreading these so that, you know what? If Stripes proofread the videos before we made them, all the videos would be like 3 minutes long. And she'd be like, well, that's that video. See you guys later. And I'd be like, but Stripes, they wanted a long video. And she's like, nope, it's over now. End the video now. And I'd be like, get your hands off my mouse. Number 13 or 12, I don't know. They tried to kill my dog because it was a deaf dog. Well, you can't kill a deaf dog. She was a white lab and very sweet. We had a large fenced-in backyard. My dog wasn't terribly loud. She wasn't aggressive at all. She was just the size of a lab, and my neighbors, specifically the wife, thought that made her evil. They called the cops more than once saying that my dog was terrorizing the neighborhood. The cops came, met the dog, and we explained that she was always in her yard. They left saying just make sure she stays in the yard. Well, the neighbors called 2 more times to complain, and eventually they went and spoke with her about her ludicrous complaints. Here is when she started taking matters into her own hands. We noticed our dog was getting sick a lot. Oh no. Like really sick. We took her to the vet, and the vet said we needed to stop feeding her human food, and that could be good for dogs. That could be bad for dogs. We had no clue what she was talking about. We went back home and decided to keep a closer eye on her. Turns out our neighbors had been dumping all manner of vile things over the fence, food scraps, mop water, and God knows what else. We went and spoke with her about this, and she denied it. Finally, we caught the bitch on video and made sure she saw us recording her. Later that night, the husband comes over and apologizes for his wife and begs us not to call the cops. Nah, nigga, it's too late. We got you on tape, nigga. He promises that he'll ensure our dog is left alone. We agreed, but said if anything happened to our dog again, we would press charges. Thankfully, she stopped coming after our dog. She moved on to our landscaping. She climbed over the fence more than once to trim, reed hack and destroy our hedges and a few saplings. She even went and pulled all the flowers out of our flower bed that had just been planted. We went and spoke with her husband, as he was the more sane one of the two. Same conversation as with our dog. There were more random things that we could never prove. Eventually she fell very ill and passed away. Haha, nigga. That karma is strong, bitch. Sorry, that's rude. You're speaking ill of the dead, Kyle. Well, this bitch was ill when she was living, Kyle. I'm talking to myself now in the stream. Come on, secretary. Stop making me seem crazy. Secretary's too lame a name for you. I should call you like Poofy Froof. That sounds like more Stripes. Is that wrong?
Why don't you just give me a gang name while you're at it?
A gang name? Stripes is already like too cool for you, like, because they don't know what Stripes refers to, so just the name, it kind of just sounds like, wow, that's a cool name, you know, Stripes. But I only call you that because you have nothing else to be called. But Poofy Froof, I don't know, may happen. Anyway, her husband was like a different person. He invited us over for barbecues and everything. Eventually even got himself a little dog. How sad is it what like a person will do to another person, you know? Why would he be with a woman who was just so terrible? Even if, like, I guess she wasn't that terrible to him, it's probably implied that maybe he would have liked a pet when she was alive but couldn't have one because she was such a bitch. Such an incorrigible bitch. I mean, maybe he just got a pet, to ease the pain of her not being there. Who knows, man? Too long didn't read. Called the cops and fed my pup. Called the cops and then fed my pup food scraps, even though it says scrapes, and cleaning supplies over a fence. Proceeded to destroy my plants and her husband's life until she passed. And you know what? Kyle, I'm a terrible person, but you know what? There's like nobody listening to this. I like to convince myself. There's probably going to be 4 people who listen to this, and everybody else just puts it on and falls asleep, and hey, that's fine with me. But let's go ahead and spice this story up by saying maybe the husband killed her. Huh? Is that juicy? Yeah, maybe the husband killed her. So, she was getting in the way. He just wanted a puppy of his own. You know what I mean? I bet you that dog was a white lab or something. Just kidding. We were always a little suspicious that she was not all there, may have suffered from some sort of mental illness. Oh, people in the comments are definitely going, man, that bitch was crazy. And she was looking for an outlet because that lady's super crazy. Number 9, right?
Hey.
What?
Scrapes is the perfect gang.
Look, I don't even know what number that really is. Let's get, Jesus Christ, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's really number 8? Wow. Number 8. I had a neighbor who would bring women back every weekend. Usually it was cool. I'd hear the bed squeak for 20 seconds, stop, silence, then laughing. I'm not jealous. I'm not the jealous type in any way, but when he constantly played shitty German music at 4 in the morning, I started getting pissed. After talking to him about it, he essentially told me to fuck off. So the next time it happened, I YouTubed babies crying and put it on full blast through my speakers, which I had set up against the wall. Needless to say, it stopped after that. Babies crying.
The kids crying.
The kids crying. The kids crying, Stripes. The kids crying. Oh, Lord. You know what I mean? I'd hear the bed squeak for 20 seconds, stop, then laughing. You know what I mean? I was hoping that he would play the crying babies after. You know what I mean? Jesus Christ, 20 seconds. Number 7. My neighbors in the shitty apartment I moved to after I moved out of my parents' place were hoarders to the extreme, as well as alcoholics. We started getting roaches in our apartment about 2 months after they moved in. Then came mice. Then came rats. About once a month, we'd call 911 on them because we'd find out one of them passed out in the parking lot or on the doorsteps or on the stairs. They'd come over and asked if it was us who kept calling 911. Then they cussed us out because they didn't have insurance and had to take out numerous payday loans to cover the ambulance cost. We broke our lease and moved out after someone took a shit on our welcome map. Nah, nigga. What do you mean someone? You could test that poop. Test that poop for DNizzle. You know what I'm talking about? Just can't take a shit on somebody's doorstep like it's all fine. We gotta find out where his feces came from. Stripes knows what I'm talking about. Test the poop. Say test the poop, Stripes.
Just the poop.
It sounds weird. Okay, number 6. I lived on a farm and we had one guy who was a real prick. He was known to have definitely stolen sheep from us. Wow, you gonna steal people's sheep? In some cases, he had shorn the wool off of them, sold it, and returned the sheep. What the fuck? What a bitch. And sometimes eating the sheep, we suspect. He demanded that we front the bill to fix the fence despite it being between our 2 properties and refusing to split the costs. He also had someone else's bull jump into his property, use it to service his cattle for 2 years. Wow. And when the owner tracked it down, the bastard demanded to be paid the adjustment costs or he wouldn't return it. He had a house on the property and he rented it to his farmhand, and the farmhand found him in there one day going through his things and telling him he wasn't allowed to leave the property under any circumstances while under his employ. The guy quit straight after that and wanted to work for us. Update, got a bonus shitty neighbor as well. We had another old neighbor who regularly would try and play chicken with us in his car and once pointed a shotgun at my dad after my dad questioned why he sent his friends to hunt on our property. Okay. Yeah, niggas out in the country are fucking crazy, man. You know, so just Just live your farm life. Number 5. It's been over 2 years and he hasn't waved back once. This guy's living a hard life. That awkward moment when you wave at your blind neighbor for 2 years. Worse than Hitler, somebody says. That guy waved at everybody. You get the joke?
No.
Okay, Hitler waved at everybody. Hitler?
I don't follow.
Hitler waved at everybody?
Where's the joke?
Hitler waved at everybody, Stripes? Okay. We're just gonna move on, man. Thanks for another gem, Stripes, to include in this video as usual. Fucking Stripes just doesn't fucking get it as usual. You just can't make it up, man. Fuck a doodle doo. Every video Stripes, there's just something new. When I was a kid, we lived across the street from shitty parents with even shittier teenage children. The sisters brought random dudes home at least 2 to 3 times a week, and were so loud that my parents called the cops on her because they thought she was being attacked. Nope, she was just really loud when she was fucking. Wow. Her brother had a lucrative business selling cocaine, and he always had customers hanging out in the driveway waiting for him to show up with some more blow. His dumbass parents kept bragging about how well he was doing with his construction job because he bought them a car and a boat. Wow. The sister babysat me once, but left after an hour because she had to go fuck somebody. Her brother showed up to take over, and I made him help organize all of my stuffed animals. I don't remember if he was high, but he organized the shit out of all my toys. We left that neighborhood as soon as the drive-bys got more frequent. Wow. Mr. Fussy, you a distributor. Corner boys run out of product, you get them to re-up. Brown Bear, you a soldier. Somebody bringing trouble, you handle that shit. Unbelievable. Oh my god. He was like setting them up. That's ridiculous. Number 3. Okay. This one's a big one. Ooh, this one's a wallop. It's gonna... There's a particular type of person who seems to feel like they're the only thing standing between society and complete collapse. About 6 years ago, my downstairs neighbor was one of them. She was aloof and paranoid, and she'd imagine threats from almost everywhere, which made the fact that she thought of herself as some kind of secret agent all the more annoying. Sad neighbor was always trying to find ways of getting me, and anyone else whom she thought of as suspicious, to move out of the building. She'd stage loud telephone calls with headquarters about the alarming behavior of other tenants, like my tendency to get home after 9 in the evening, which was clearly scandalous, and frequently yell at people who'd stand on the corner to smoke. On one occasion, I heard her shouting at someone over the placement of a flower pot in their window, which was obviously an indication that they were selling drugs. Then one afternoon, I found this taped to a wall in the stairwell. FBI tips and public leads. There are several occupants who have been under suspicion with regards to their behavior and activities, which have been documented and observed by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. We would appreciate any extra detailed information you might have noticed, observed, and suspect about your neighbor over the last 2 years living in this apartment complex. These will be individuals during off hours while persons living here are sleeping. This is not directed solely to a specific gender. It is directed to both male and female persons living here at this address. These individuals have been involved in identity theft, falsifying bank loans, and illegal narcotics distribution from this location and outside of it. please contact your local office and give your local location, and phone operator will connect you to the agent involved with this case. Taped to a wall in the stairwell. It was perhaps the most ridiculous attempt at an official document I had ever seen, and I'm including the time that my friend Jonathan, then 9 years old, made a flyer for bodyguard services. It's probably that was probably a gem. I wish we had that. The atrocious grammar, poorly photoshopped seal, the distinct absence of any legitimate contact information made the notice about as realistic as a scene from NCIS. Furthermore, the reference to the past 2 years seemed to indicate me as her primary target, since I was, as far as I knew, the only resident who had been there for less than that amount of time. Still, since the notice was clearly meant to scare someone, I decided to return the favor by taking a page out of my neighbor's own playbook and standing outside of her apartment while staging my own fake phone call. You see, oh my god, you should see the notice. It's terrible. Yeah, it's like they didn't know that they were impersonating they didn't know that impersonating a federal official is a felony. Anyway, the real FBI are on their way, and they're going to dust for fingerprints. Whoever made the notice is looking at a lot of jail time. I went back inside my apartment after that, and within seconds, I heard my neighbor's door open, and there were the sounds of hurried footsteps rushing towards the stairwell, followed by an equally hurried retreat. When I went out to check 5 minutes later, the notice was gone. I've since moved away from the location, but for the rest of the time I lived there, the lady never bothered me again. That stupid old lady. You ain't supposed to mess with old people. They fucking stupid. But yeah, no, falsifying this kind of shit is like a good way to get you in trouble. Come on now. Number 2, Stripes. I'm like putting you to sleep, and you're like my proxy for the audience. So if I can't keep you, surprised and into this freaking thing, then how can I keep them?
I asked you at the beginning if it would be okay if I worked while I did this. Now I know I can't do that.
It's not about you not interjecting enough. It's about like the quality of the list as far as whether or not it's like a 1 or 10 on the scale of like Vine. You know what I mean? To keep ADD people's attention. It's not a bad list by any means. It's just like you definitely need a little more snapping and clicks and whistles and bells and cotton candy and cats with rainbows coming out of their ass or something. I don't know. What are you drawing right now? That's the real question.
I told you before I started I just needed to make a collage for a character I want to sell.
Oh.
I'm just scaling now. Be over. You'll get your money back soon.
I'll kill you, Stripes. Number 2. As long as you get my money, Stripes. Number 2. My neighbor has 3 dogs, which they let outside twice a day to poop. The dogs are friendly and not very loud, except they always shit on our lawn. My husband and I have actually seen our neighbors encourage their dogs to use our lawn. They physically lead the dogs to our lawn, discourage them from going on their lawn, etc. I finally had enough, so I got my garden trowel and flicked all their dog shit onto their lawn. Today my husband went outside to mow the lawn and caught the neighbor encouraging their dogs to go on our lawn. Their neighbor acted like nothing was wrong, but quickly called the dogs back. Edit. We did talk to the neighbors about the poop, but they're not interested. It's been roughly a year since we moved here, and I can't wait to move out already. We want to build a fence, but we're in the middle of remodeling our bathroom, and the house was built in the 70s and hasn't been maintained very well, so we can't really afford a fence right now. To all those saying that my husband should poop on their porch to get revenge, he's a shy pooper. My God. Number 1. In an apartment, this lady lived on the 3rd floor. She must have let her cat piss everywhere because their entire building reeked like cat piss. The smell entered my apartment frequently. When I passed her in the hallway, I would have to hold my breath because she smelled so bad. I dealt with this for 2 years with multiple complaints to the office until I eventually called animal control. Turns out she had 30 cats in her apartment. Well, I guess 30 cats is the neighbor from hell, huh? It's about the amount of cats. A response says, cat piss? Isn't that one of the worst possible things you can soak your apartment in? And 30 of them? Did she move out? Did the smell go away? What happened to all the cats? So many questions, but so few answers. Arrgh! They wrote, Arrgh!
They did?
Who is this person? The original throwaway cat. They didn't even want this to be a freaking... They made a throwaway account to answer an Ask Reddit question. Why? Man, this is the end of this. The movie. See you guys later. Anything to say, Stripes? I guess that's that then. Bye.